Africa has many things to boast about, and one of them is the presence of very wealthy people who have become billionaires over the years. According to Forbes, their net worth is calculated using stock prices and currency exchange rates. If you have always had a keen look at the economies of most African countries, you will discover that most of the richest people are in the business sector. Presently, Africa has 18 billionaires with a total net worth of almost $74 billion, which has slightly increased by 1% compared to 2021. Despite the novel COVID-19 crisis plaguing the world, their net worth has not been affected adversely. Some of them even got richer as their businesses kept booming. The 18 African billionaires are from 7 different countries as indicated by Forbes. South Africa, Egypt, Nigeria, Morocco, and Tanzania are the main host countries for Africa's billionaires, which you are about to discover. Before we get started with this video, please do subscribe to our channel and also let us know how much you have interest in watching by clicking the like button. We shall begin from the bottom of the list. In the 18th position is 18. Yasseen Mansour, $1.1 billion. Yasseen Mansour is one of Africa's billionaires who hails from the Mansour family, noted to have established one of the biggest conglomerates in Egypt, the Mansour Group. Yasseen owns and manages other businesses, but most of his wealth comes from the Mansour Group. He is the founder of Man Foods, which is the owner and operator of the McDonald's franchise in Egypt. He is also the chairman of one of Egypt's largest real estate developers called the Palm Hills Development. He currently has a net worth of $1.1 billion. Next. 17. Youssef Mansour, $1.5 billion. The Mansour family still holds another billionaire on the list, Youssef Mansour. The 77-year-old Egyptian businessman has raised a lot of money for himself through many different activities. He is at the head of the Mansour Group, a family business unit he runs alongside his brothers. The company distributes GM vehicles, Caterpillar equipment, and household products in Egypt and several other countries. It is one of the richest business groups on the continent. Youssef took over control of this conglomerate after his father died many years back. He mainly controls the consumer goods division of the business, which includes supermarket chain Metro and sole distribution rights. His net worth stands at $1.5 billion. 16. Mohamed Dewji, $1.5 billion. Mohamed Dewji is a renowned Tanzanian business guru who has gotten a fair share of wealth from the diverse activities he carries out. He is involved in manufacturing, flour milling, beverages, and edible oil processing. His net worth in 2022 is over $1.5 billion and is ranked by Forbes as number 16 amongst Africa's billionaires. Dewji is the founder and chief executive officer of Metal Group, a conglomerate which facilitates the production of flour, beverages, edible oil, and other products. The company operates in at least 6 African countries and has ambitions to expand to more countries. The lone Tanzanian billionaire signed a pledge in 2016 to donate at least half of his fortunes to philanthropic activities. 15. Othman Benjelloun, $1.5 billion. Born in 1931 in Morocco, Othman Benjelloun is a banker and billionaire businessman with a net worth of $1.5 billion. Benjelloun is well known by many as the co-founder of the BMC Bank and the Bank of Africa. The BMC Bank has a presence in more than 20 African countries. He serves as the Bank of Africa's chief executive officer. In 2014, he inaugurated a $500 million plan to build the 55-story Mohammed, the 6th tower in Rabat. It will be one of the tallest buildings in Africa. Through his holding company, FinanceCom, he has a stake in the Moroccan arm of French telecom firm Orange. FinanceCom is part of a project to develop a multi-billion-dollar tech city in Tangiers that is expected to host 200 Chinese companies. The 91-year-old billionaire is married to Leila Yasseen Benjelloun, and he is a father of 2. 14. Michiel Le Roux, $1.7 billion. Michiel Le Roux is a South African-based billionaire aged 72, who is listed as one of the richest on the continent due to his banking and financial investment activity. His net worth as of 2022 stands at $1.7 billion. Let's get to know more about him. Le Roux is the founder of the Capitec Bank in South Africa, which was founded in 2001. He owns 12% of stakes in this bank. He served as chairman of the bank's board of directors from 2007 to 2016, and since then, he is still a board member. Before creating the Capitec Bank, he ran other smaller banks in the Cape Town hinterlands. Next. 13. Aziz Akhannouch, $2.2 billion. The 13th billionaire in Africa in 2022 on the list is a Moroccan, Aziz Akhannouch. He has made great fortunes from his many diverse businesses, but most especially from petroleum. Aziz Akhannouch was once the Minister of Transport for Morocco from 2006 to 2009 when Mohamed Dewji was president. He has been serving as Prime Minister for the country since 2021. Aziz is the majority owner of the Aqua Group, a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate founded by his father in 1932. Today, he has raised a net worth of about $2.2 billion. This business group is interested in petroleum, gas, and other chemicals, and is responsible for the sale of Afriquia gas and Maghreb oxygen. In the 12th position is 12. Mohamed Mansour, $2.5 billion. Mohamed Mansour is an African billionaire who hails from Egypt. He gets his wealth mostly from self-made diverse activities, most especially those in the Mansour Group, which is a family asset. His net worth in 2022 stands at $2.5 billion. Mohamed Mansour served as transport minister in Egypt from 2006 to 2009 during President Hosni Mubarak's reign. He established General Motors Leadership Holdings in Egypt, which has become one of the largest distributors of Caterpillar equipment. The company has exclusive distribution rights for Caterpillar equipment in Egypt and 7 other countries. 11. Strive Masiyiwa, $2.7 billion. Strive Masiyiwa is a Zimbabwean-born telecommunications tycoon who has made a name on the list of billionaires in Africa in 2022. He is worth $2.7 billion. He succeeded to launch a mobile telephone network called Econet Wireless in Zimbabwe in 1998 after a long tussle with the government. The 61-year-old owns 50% of the shares in the company, which is part of the larger Econet Group. His other assets include stakes in mobile phone networks in Burundi and Lesotho and investments in fintech and power distribution firms in Africa. Next up, 10. Koos Bekker, $2.7 billion. Koos Bekker is a 69-year-old South African media and entertainment figure. He is celebrated for transforming the South African newspaper publisher Naspers into an e-commerce investor and cable TV powerhouse. Naspers is the richest company in Africa with a market capitalization of $42.6 billion. Bekker, who retired as Naspers CEO in 2014, returned a year later as chairman of the company. According to Forbes, his net worth currently hovers around $2.7 billion. If you're enjoying the video so far, let us know by clicking the like button. Also, let us know you're interested in our content by subscribing to our channel. Let's continue with our African billionaires. 9. Patrice Motsepe, $3.1 billion. Patrice Motsepe is the current president of the Confederation of African Football. CAF is the largest sports governing body in Africa. He also appears as one of Africa's billionaires on the Forbes list in 2022. Apart from this very strategic post he occupies, Patrice Motsepe is into metals and mining. The 59-year-old CAF president from South Africa is the founder and chairman of African Rainbow Minerals and became a billionaire in 2008, making him the first black South African to appear on the Forbes list of billionaires. He also has a stake in Sanlam, a listed financial services firm, and is the president and owner of the Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club in South Africa. He has a net worth of $3.1 billion. 8. Naguib Sawiris, $3.4 billion. He's a son of the Sawiris family in Egypt and one of Africa's billionaires. The telecommunications tycoon owns the telecom company, one of the largest network providers in Egypt. He made a multi-billion-dollar transaction in 2011 in selling his formerly owned Orascom company to a Russian firm called Vimpelcom, now known as Vion. Orascom Investment, which owns stakes in Egypt and Italy, is also an area where part of Naguib Sawiris' wealth comes from. Naguib Sawiris also owns shares in Globe Holdings Media, a pan-European television and video news network. Naguib's net worth in 2022 stands at $3.4 billion. 7. Issad Rebrab, $5.1 billion. 78-year-old Issad Rebrab is the 7th billionaire in Africa in 2022 with an estimated net worth of $5.1 billion. He hails from Algeria, and what causes his great fortunes is his engagement in the food and beverage sector in the country. He is the founder and chief executive officer of Cevital, a company that owns one of the largest sugar refineries in the world and generates over 2 million tons of sugar each year. Issad Rebrab has succeeded in extending the company's activities to parts of Europe. 6. Mike Adenuga, $6.7 billion. Mike Adenuga is a Nigerian-born businessman, counted today as one of Africa's billionaires due to his dynamism in the telecommunications and oil sectors. He is also the second richest person in Nigeria. The richest person in Nigeria is Africa's top billionaire, whom you're about to discover. Mike Adenuga's mobile telephone network, Globacom, is the third largest in Nigeria, with over 55 million subscribers. On an interesting note, Mike is said to have made his first million at the age of 26 by selling lace and distributing soft drinks. He has also carried out many petty jobs before becoming one of Africa's richest people. His net worth stands at $6.7 billion as of 2022. Before we move to the 5th person on our list, please let us know in the comments when your name will appear on this list. Tell us the sector and African countries in which your businesses will be operating. Now let's look at the 5th richest African. 5. Abdulsamad Rabiu, $7 billion. The 61-year-old Nigerian Abdulsamad Rabiu is the 5th billionaire on our list. He earns money from many diverse activities, but most significantly from cement and sugar processing. He is the founder of the BUA Group, a Nigerian conglomerate engaged in cement production, real estate, and sugar refining, a business that has helped him to accumulate a net worth of $7 billion. Rabiu owns about 98.5% of the stocks in the BUA Group. In 1988, he started his own business, importing iron, steel, and chemical before taking over his father's business, the present-day BUA company. 4. Nassef Sawiris, $8.6 billion. Nassef Sawiris is an Egyptian billionaire who has invested in construction and engineering. A son of Egypt's wealthiest family, he is one of the richest people on the African continent. He has a net worth of $8.6 billion and takes the 4th position on the list of African billionaires provided by Forbes in 2022. His most valuable asset is a nearly 6% stake in Adidas, a leading sportswear maker in the world. In December 2020, he acquired a 5% stake in a New York-listed firm, Madison Square Garden Sports, owner of NBA Knicks and the NHL Rangers teams. Nassef Sawiris also holds shares in Orascom Construction, an engineering and building firm that he co-manages with his brothers from the Sawiris family. Let's talk about the 3rd billionaire in Africa this year. 3. Nicky Oppenheimer, $8.7 billion. Nicky Oppenheimer is a 77-year-old South African businessman who is into the metal and mining industry. With an estimated net worth of $8.7 billion, most of his wealth comes from the extraction of diamonds. Nicky is the manager of the De Beers Diamond Company, which he partly sold to the mining group, Anglo-American, in 2012 for $5.1 billion. Today, his company occupies one of the hottest spots in the world's diamond trade. In 2014, the South African business tycoon started a chartered flight company in Johannesburg called Fireblade Aviation, which is still operational today. He owns at least 720 square kilometers of conservation land across South Africa, Botswana, and Zimbabwe. 2. Johann Rupert, $11 billion. The second African billionaire on our list is Johann Rupert, a South African man who has made lots of fortunes in the fashion and retail industry. Rupert's wealth originates from the production and distribution of luxury goods, a business that his father started in the 1940s. Rupert's involvement in this business has seen his net worth skyrocket from $7.2 billion last year to a hopping $11 billion in 2022, making him the second richest person in Africa. Johann Rupert is the chief executive officer of the Swiss luxury goods firm known as Compagnie Financière Richemont. If you've heard of the Cartier and Montblanc brands, then it is thanks to this firm. He also owns shares in other business holdings and investment firms, such as Rengro and Rainet in Luxembourg in Europe. Let us now get to the person on the top of the list of Africa's billionaires in 2022. Can you guess who Africa's richest person is? Share with us in the comments below. At the first position of Africa's billionaires in 2022 is no other person than 1. Aliko Dangote, $13.9 billion. Aliko Dangote is Africa's richest person who has occupied this position for more than 10 consecutive years. The well-known billionaire, who hails from Nigeria, founded and chairs Dangote Cement, the largest cement production and distribution company in Africa. With an annual production capacity of 45.6 million metric tons, Dangote Cement operates in 10 African countries. He built his fortune primarily from Dangote Cement, although he started his business empire by selling commodities such as sugar, salt, and flour. The business magnate owns 85% of shares in the company and has also been incorporating fertilizer and oil production into his company activities. Dangote's fertilizer plant in Nigeria went operational in 2021, while the Dangote oil refinery is still under construction. When completed, the refinery is expected to be the largest in Africa and one of the biggest in the world. Aliko Dangote is also the owner of the eponymous Dangote Group, one of the largest private sector employers in Nigeria, as well as the most valuable conglomerate in West Africa, which accounts for 1/4 of businesses in the Nigerian stock exchange market. Based in Nigeria, he also does business in other countries, including Benin, Cameroon, Ghana, South Africa, Togo, and Zambia. Aliko Dangote's net worth in 2022, at the time of making this video, stands at $13.9 billion. In case you didn't know, now you know who Africa's most celebrated billionaires are in 2022. The list of African billionaires in 2022 is called from Forbes' latest publication of billionaires in the African continent. As you have watched, there are indications that more people will join this class of wealthy people in the years ahead. When will your name be on the list? Yes, you watching this video. The impacts made by these billionaires on the African continent are far-reaching. Their influence is felt even in other countries outside of Africa. Yet, one question remains. Will Africa's richest person, Aliko Dangote, occupy the top spot on Forbes' prestigious list of African billionaires in 2023? Share your thoughts with us by leaving comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like and also subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming content. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.